Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Nipunika Shahid with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls startups the backbone of New India, announces 16th of January as National Startup Day. Republic Day celebrations to begin every year from 23rd January to include birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Election Commission extends ban on physical rallies and road shows till 22nd January in 5 poll-bound states in view of surge in COVID-19 cases. West Bengal civic polls deferred to 12th of February. Congress releases list of 86 candidates for Punjab Assembly elections. Chief Minister Charanjit Singh Channi contests from Chamkaur Sahib constituency. Centre promulgates revised consolidated guidelines and standards for charging infrastructure for electric vehicles. Prime Minister urges students, teachers and parents to register for this year's Pariksha Pe Charcha. Army Day is being celebrated today. Army Chief General M.M. Naravane says Pakistan is still harbouring terrorists near the border. Virat Kohli steps down as Indian cricket team's Test captain. And in badminton, Lakshya Sen enters men's singles final of India Open to face Loh Keen Yew of Singapore in summit clash tomorrow. As the number of COVID-19 cases is rising fast in several parts of the country, we appeal to our listeners to be vigilant and to get fully vaccinated and help others, including children between 15 and 18 years, get vaccinated. As the new Omicron variant of coronavirus is causing concern, please continue to follow these 3 simple steps to stay safe. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 01123978046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said the year 2022 has brought several possibilities for the startup ecosystem in the country, highlighting the importance of startups in the nation's progress. The Prime Minister said the country's startups are the backbone of New India. Mr. Modi was interacting with startups through video conferencing. On the occasion, the Prime Minister said the 16th of January will be celebrated as National Startup Day.
जब भारत अपनी आजादी के 100 वर्ष पूरे करेगा, उस भव्य भारत के निर्माण में आपकी भूमिका बहुत बड़ी है। देश के उन सभी स्टार्टअप्स को, सभी इनोवेटिव युवाओं को बहुत-बहुत बधाई देता हूं, जो स्टार्टअप्स की दुनिया में भारत का झंडा बुलंद कर रहे हैं। स्टार्टअप्स का ये कल्चर देश के दूर दराज तक पहुंचे, इसके लिए 16 जनवरी को अब नेशनल स्टार्टअप डे के रूप में मनाने का फैसला भी किया गया है।
The Prime Minister said the golden era of India's startups is starting now. He said this decade is being called the Tech Age of India and the government is taking concrete steps to strengthen the innovation, entrepreneurship and startup ecosystem across the country. Mr. Modi said investment on research and development of future technology is the priority of the government. The Prime Minister said our effort is to institutionalize innovation in the young minds since childhood to create interest for innovation.
भारत आज अपने युवाओं के इस सामर्थ्य को पहचानते हुए नीतियां बना रहा है, निर्णय लागू कर रहा है। हमने अनेकों हैकेथॉन्स का आयोजन करके नौजवानों को अपने साथ जोड़ा है। सरकार के अलग-अलग विभाग, अलग-अलग मंत्रालय नौजवानों और स्टार्टअप के साथ संपर्क में रहते हैं, उनके नए आइडियाज को प्रोत्साहित करते हैं, चाहे नए ड्रोन रूल्स हो या फिर नई स्पेस पॉलिसी। सरकार की प्राथमिकता ज्यादा से ज्यादा युवाओं को इनोवेशन का मौका देने की है।
Several union ministers were present during the interaction in which startups from various sectors took part. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal has said that Startup India is about realizing millions of dreams Presenting the National Startup Awards 2021, Mr. Goyal said the startup mission is a symbol of self-reliant and self-confident India. He said be it a fisherman's son from Chennai or a boatman's daughter from Kashmir, they all want to bring prosperity to their families and to their people and therefore are thinking bigger and bolder. During the ceremony, a total of 46 startups were recognized as winners of National Startup Awards 2021.
Republic Day celebrations will now begin from 23rd of January every year instead of 24th. According to government sources, the step has been taken to include the birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose in the Republic Day celebrations. Birth anniversary of Subhash Chandra Bose is celebrated as Parakram Divas on 23rd of January every year across the country. This is in line with Modi government's vision of celebrating and commemorating important aspects of country's rich history and culture. The Election Commission today extended ban on physical rallies and roadshows until 22nd of this month in the 5 poll-bound states of Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Uttarakhand, Goa and Manipur. The poll body granted relaxation for political parties to the extent that indoor meetings of maximum of 300 persons or 50% of the capacity of the hall or the prescribed limit set by state disaster management authorities, SDMAs. The Commission has directed political parties to adhere to the provisions of Model Code of Conduct and the broad guidelines of COVID. The Election Commission today held separate virtual meetings with Health Ministry Chief Secretaries and Health Secretaries of Goa, Manipur, Punjab, Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh, and also the Chief Electoral Officers of these 5 poll-going states. Chief Election Commissioner Sushil Chandra, along with Election Commissioners Rajiv Kumar and Anup Chandra Pandey, accompanied by Secretary General and concerned Deputy Election Commissioners, held a comprehensive review of present status and projected trends of COVID pandemic with special focus in the 5 poll-going states. Vaccination status and action plan for expeditiously completing vaccination for first, second and booster dose for eligible persons amongst frontline workers and polling personnel was also reviewed. More from our correspondent.
The Election Commission also discussed SDMA's restrictions and state-specific extent guidelines regulating the norms of gathering of persons during the period of pandemic. After considering the present situation, facts and circumstances as also the inputs received in these meetings, the Commission has directed that no roadshow, padiyatra, cycle, bike or vehicle rally and procession shall be allowed till 22nd January 2022. The Commission will subsequently review the situation and issue further instructions accordingly. No physical rally of political parties or candidates, including probable or any other group related to election, shall be allowed till 22nd of this month. Unpermished, AR News, Delhi.
The West Bengal State Election Commission, WBSEC, has decided to defer civic body polls to the 12th of next month due to rise in COVID cases. In a notification, the WBSEC today said the municipal elections in Asansol, Bidhannagar, Shiliguri and Chandanagar, which were scheduled to be held on the 22nd of this month, have been postponed to the 12th of February. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath will contest from Gorakhpur Urban Assembly seat, while Deputy Chief Minister Keshav Prasad Maurya will be the BJP candidate from Sirathu seat in Prayagraj in the upcoming state assembly elections. Former Uttarakhand Governor Baby Rani Maurya will fight from Agra Rural Assembly as the BJP candidate. The party today released the first list of 107 candidates for the Uttar Pradesh Assembly elections, announcing the names in New Delhi. Senior party leader and Union Minister Dharmendra Pradhan said 63 sitting MLAs have been given tickets in this list.
आज हमने 107 प्रत्याशी घोषणा किए, उसमें से 63 सिटिंग एमएलए को रिपीट किया है. लगभग घोषणा की 20% हम लोगों ने परिवर्तन अभी तक हो पाई है और उसमें हम लोगों ने युवा, महिला, डॉक्टर, समाज जीवन की अच्छे गुणवत्ता रखने वाले 21 नए प्रत्याशियों को हमने लाया है.
Party General Secretary Arun Singh said Uttar Pradesh Power Minister Shrikant Sharma has been fielded again from his Mathura Assembly constituency. Bahujan Samaj Party BSP has announced the names of candidates for 53 seats out of 58 assembly constituencies that are going to polls in the first phase on the 10th of February. In a press conference, BSP Chief Mayawati said the party will finalize the candidates on remaining 5 seats in a day or two. Meanwhile, Samajwadi Party and Rashtriya Lok Dal Alliance has released the second list of 7 candidates for the upcoming assembly polls in Uttar Pradesh. The alliance had earlier announced names of 29 candidates in its first list on Thursday. Uttar Pradesh police have arrested Samajwadi Party MLA and candidate from Kairana Assembly constituency, Nahid Hassan, in connection with a year-old case against him under the Gangster Act. A local fast-track court has sent him to 14-day judicial custody. The SP leader from Shamli district was absconding for about a year.
Congress today released a list of 86 candidates for upcoming Punjab Assembly elections. Chief Minister Charanjit Singh Channi will fight from Chamkaur Sahib seat, while Congress State President Navjot Singh Sidhu from Amritsar East Assembly constituency. The party has fielded senior Congress leader Pratap Singh Bajpa from Khadian Assembly constituency. Singer Sidhu Musewala will be the Congress candidate from Mansa seat. You're listening to the evening news on All India Radio. Reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls startups backbone of New India, announces 16th of January as National Startup Day. Republic Day celebrations to begin every year from 23rd January to include birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Election Commission extends ban on physical rallies and roadshows till 22nd January in 5 poll-bound states in view of surge in COVID-19 cases. West Bengal civic polls defer to 12th of February. Congress releases list of 86 candidates for Punjab Assembly elections. Chief Minister Charanjit Singh Channi contests from Chamkaur Sahib constituency. Centre promulgates revised consolidated guidelines and standards for charging infrastructure for electric vehicles. Prime Minister urges students, teachers and parents to register for this year's Pariksha Pe Charcha. Army Day is being celebrated today. Army Chief General M.M. Narwane says Pakistan is still harbouring terrorists near the border. Virat Kohli steps down as Indian cricket team's test captain. And in badminton, Lakshya Sen enters men's single final of India Open to face Loh Keen Yew of Singapore in summit clash tomorrow. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle AIR News Alerts.
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242।
Welcome back to the evening news. The Centre has promulgated revised consolidated guidelines and standards for charging infrastructure for electric vehicles yesterday. These guidelines are exhaustive and include provisions for individual owners of electric vehicles as well as public charging stations. In a significant step, owners may charge their electric vehicles at their residence and offices using their existing electricity connections. The guidelines provide that any individual or entity is free to set up public charging stations without the requirement of a license. An exhaustive list of compliance requirements for public charging stations have also been outlined. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has urged students, parents and teachers to register for this year's Pariksha Pe Charcha. In a series of tweets today, Mr. Modi said Pariksha Pe Charcha is a fantastic learning experience and it provides an opportunity to connect with dynamic youth, understand their challenges and aspirations in a better way. He said it also gives an opportunity to discover the emerging trends in the world of education.
The government has said a total of 6,041 cases of Omicron variant of COVID-19 have been reported in the country so far. This is an increase of over 5% since yesterday. The Health Ministry said over 156 crore 2 lakh doses of COVID vaccines have been administered in the country under the nationwide vaccination drive. The national recovery rate stands at 94.83%. The country reported over 2,68,000 new COVID cases during the same period. 74th Army Day is being celebrated today. The day is celebrated on 15th January every year as commemoration to the first Commander-in-Chief of the Indian Army, Field Marshal K.M. Cariappa. President Ramnath Kovind, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended greetings to Army personnel and veterans on the day. Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur also greeted the Indian Army on the occasion. We have a report.
Every year, the Army Day is marked by conducting military parade and many other martial displays at Delhi Cantonment's Cariappa Parade Ground. On the 1st of April 1895, the British Indian Army was founded within the British administration. After India became independent in 1947, it was not until the 15th of January 1949 that the nation received its first ever Indian chief. Lieutenant General K.M. Cariappa succeeded General Francis Butcher, the final British Commander-in-Chief of the Indian Army, as Commander-in-Chief of the Indian Armed Forces in 1949. The handover of authority from Britain to India is seen as a turning point in Indian history and is observed as Army Day. This day is also marked to pay tributes to the troops who sacrificed their lives for the nation. Reshma Tiwari, News Desk.
Army Chief General M.M. Narwane said that the incidents of violence have come down significantly due to the continuous efforts of the security forces. Speaking at a function on Army Day in New Delhi, General Narwane said a total of 194 terrorists were killed in counter operations in the last 1 year. He said at the line of control, the situation is better than last year, but Pakistan is still harboring terrorists near the border.
नियंत्रण रेखा पर स्थिति बीते साल की तुलना में बेहतर है। पिछले वर्ष फरवरी में हुई डीजीएमओस के बीच अंडरस्टैंडिंग के बाद सीज फायर वायलेशंस पर काफी हद तक रोक लगी गई, लेकिन पाकिस्तान आतंकवादियों को पनाह देने की अपने आदत से लाचार है। सीमा पार प्रशिक्षण शिविरों में तकरीबन 300 से 400 आतंकवादी घुसपैठ करने के अवसर की तलाश में बैठे हैं। सरहद पार से ड्रोन द्वारा हथियारों की स्मगलिंग की कोशिश भी जारी है। नियंत्रण रेखा पर हमारे सक्रिय ऑपरेशन और मजबूत काउंटर इन्फिल्ट्रेशन ग्रिड से घुसपैठ की अनेक कोशिशों को नाकाम किया है।
The world's largest national flag, the Indian tricolour made from khadi, was today displayed along the India-Pakistan border in Rajasthan's Longewala on the occasion of the 74th Army Day. Longewala in the western part of the desert state's Jaisalmer district was the site of the iconic Battle of Longewala in 1971 between the two neighbours. More from our Jaipur correspondent.
The flag is 225 feet long, 150 feet wide and weighs around 1,400 kilograms, while the Ashok Chakra in the center has a diameter of 30 feet. The monumental national flag is a creation of Khadi and Village Industries Commission to mark the ongoing Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations. 70 Khadi artisans took 49 days to prepare the flag, the making of which created nearly 3,500 man-hours of extra work and Khadi artisans and allied workers. A whopping 4,500 meters of hand-spun Khadi cotton bunting has been used in making the flag, which covers the total area of 33,750 square feet. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
Culture Minister G. Kishan Reddy today announced that a 10th century stone idol of goat head yogini that had been illegally removed from a temple at Lokhari in Banda in Uttar Pradesh is being returned to India. Announcing this in a tweet, the minister said the Narendra Modi government is committed to realize the civilizational glory of India.
Thiruvalluvar Day is being celebrated in Tamil Nadu today to mark the birth anniversary of Tamil poet and philosopher. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid tributes to the great philosopher, distinguished saint and revered Tamil poet. And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News, Birth of a Nation.
India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
In today's episode, we remember educationist and Gandhian freedom fighter Saifuddin Kichlu, who was born on the 15th of January 1888 in Amritsar, Punjab. Kichlu devoted his life to preserving communal harmony in India and was at the forefront of the protests against the Rowlatt Act in Amritsar.
A lawyer by profession, Kichlu, alongside fellow freedom fighter Satyapal, led a strike to agitate people against British oppression. In a public gathering in Amritsar on 30th March 1919, addressing a gathering of 30,000 people, he said,
"The message of Mahatma Gandhi has been read to you. All citizens should be prepared for resistance. This does not mean that this sacred town or country should be flooded with blood. The resistance should be a passive one. Do not use harsh words in respect of any policeman or traitor which might cause him pain or lead to the possibility of a breach of peace."
The British were alarmed by the growing resistance against the Rowlatt Act and they arrested Kichlu and Satyapal on the 10th April and sent them to Dharamshala. Their arrests triggered the mass gathering at Jallianwala Bagh, which was violently crushed by General Dyer, massacring hundreds of innocent people on 13th April 1919. Kichlu was eventually released from prison in December 1919.
Kichlu was instrumental in the establishment of Swaraj Ashram in January 1921 at Amritsar to train young men for national work and to promote Hindu-Muslim unity. Saifuddin Kichlu was repeatedly arrested by the British authorities and spent a total of 14 years in jail.
Kichlu was also the chairman of the reception committee of the Congress session in Lahore when, on 26 January 1930, the Indian National Congress declared Indian independence. Kichlu was a supporter of Bhagat Singh and was actively involved with him in Naujawan Bharat Sabha. He was also a member of the foundation committee of Jamia Millia Islamia.
In 1947, Kichlu strongly opposed the acceptance of the partition of India. He spoke out against it at public meetings across the country. He called it a blatant surrender of nationalism for communalism. He was the founder president of the All India Peace Council, besides remaining vice president of the World Peace Council.
He received the Stalin Peace Prize in 1952. In 1951, the government of India made Kichlu, along with Jawaharlal Nehru and Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, life trustees of the Jallianwala Bagh National Memorial Trust. He died on 9th October 1963. We salute the great nationalist.
We also remember social reformer Ram Gopal Ghosh, who died on 15 January 1868. One of the leaders of the Young Bengal group, he was referred to as Indian Demosthenes, comparing him to the Greek statesman of ancient Athens. Ghosh also helped in the establishment of Bethune College in 1879, which was the first women's college in India as well as in Asia.
Ram Gopal Ghosh joined the class of radical thinker Henry Derozio and soon became friendly with Ramtanu Lahiri and the other Derozians. When Derozio established the Academic Association, Ghosh became one of its leading members. In 1853, he was among the first to demand the eligibility of Indians in the civil service examinations.
In 1854, he proposed the establishment of universities in India. Ram Gopal Ghosh took an active part in the establishment of the British Indian Association. We salute the great Indian.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase hallmarked gold jewelry. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline's toll-free number 14404, issued in public interest by Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. Jago Grahak Jago.
The Pacific country of Tonga experienced a large volcanic eruption today, followed by a tsunami that flooded parts of the capital Nuku'alofa, which lies just 65 kilometers north of the volcano. According to the US-based Pacific Tsunami Warning Center, the surge wave reached a height of 2.7 feet in Nuku'alofa. Meanwhile, there is no information about damage to property or casualties yet. A tsunami warning sent residents scrambling to higher ground.
Virat Kohli has stepped down as the Test captain of the Indian men's cricket team. The decision comes after India witnessed a series defeat against South Africa. Kohli announced his decision to step down through a social media post this evening. Virat Kohli replaced MS Dhoni as the captain of Indian team and became the most successful Test captain with 40 wins in 68 matches. Under his dynamic captaincy, India became a formidable force and dominated every team at home. He became the first ever Asian captain to win a Test series in Australia. World Championship bronze medalist Lakshya Sen registered a scintillating win to advance to the men's singles finals at India Open Badminton today. Lakshya entered his maiden summit clash with a win over Malaysia's Nerdsey Yong 19-21, 21-16, 21-12. Third seed Sen, ranked 17th in the world, will face world champion Loh Keen Yew of Singapore in the summit clash tomorrow. Indian pair of Satvik Sairaj Reddy and Chirag Shetty also advanced into the men's doubles final after defeating Fabien Delroux and William Williger of France 21-10, 21-18.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. National capital Delhi will have a cold day. Mumbai is expected to have mainly clear sky. Chennai will have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Kolkata will have fog or mist in the morning and mainly clear sky later. Jammu will have partly cloudy sky becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening or night. Srinagar, Leh, Gilgit and Muzaffarabad will have generally cloudy sky. Guwahati will have fog and mist in the morning and mainly clear sky later. Imphal will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls startups the backbone of New India, announces 16th of January as National Startup Day. Republic Day celebrations to begin every year from 23rd January to include birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Election Commission extends ban on physical rallies and road shows till 22nd January in 5 poll-bound states in view of surge in COVID-19 cases. West Bengal civic polls deferred to 12th of February. Congress releases list of 86 candidates for Punjab Assembly elections. Chief Minister Charanjit Singh Channi to contest from Chamkaur Sahib constituency. Centre promulgates revised consolidated guidelines and standards for charging infrastructure for electric vehicles. Prime Minister urges students, teachers and parents to register for this year's Pariksha Pe Charcha Army Day being celebrated today. Army Chief General Naravane says Pakistan still harbouring terrorists near border. Virat Kohli steps down as Indian cricket team's test captain, and in badminton Lakshya Sen enters men's singles final of India Open to face Loh Keen Yew of Singapore in summit clash tomorrow. With that we end the evening news. Good night.